Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
That's Persecution from the latest release from Judas Priest, from the Nostradamus release. And, Chris, it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. And speaking of mixed reviews, you got your friend Keith on the phone with us, yes?
That's right. Keith Bergman is the, I don't know what you call him, the senior writer, I guess, for Blabbermouth.net. And I've known Keith for, Keith, 10 years or so now?
Oh, at least. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, Keith, welcome to the Classic Metal Show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure, man.
Hey, your dressing rooms kind of suck, though. I had to double up with Benny Apathy, and, he's eating a lot of baba ganoush. So it's pretty...
Nice. Look at you, wanting to be a rock star already, being on the almighty Classic Metal Show.
Hey, I dream big.
Keith, I've never had the pleasure of your acquaintance, so welcome to the Classic Metal Show. Are you familiar with the show? Have you listened to us before?
It's internet radio. Nobody listens to that, right?
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
No, I've listened a little bit. I'm so old school. I listened to Chris on his old show in Cleveland, and I was actually on his show before.
Right. So basically, you really have no idea what we do then.
No, pretty much no.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Well, Chris had a brainstorm of an idea today that we would bring you on the show since your review of Judas Priest caught so much flack over there at Blabbermouth. And he said that you could pretty much hold your own against anybody, so he thought maybe this would be a good idea, bring you on the show and, actually let you talk to the naysayers who said your review was just way out of line.
Well, I'm thinking my ulterior motive here is we're going to trace all the calls and we're going to catch the next Nathan Gale before I get wasted at a show somewhere.
Very nice. Well, Keith, obviously, man, the... Nostradamus, and you've seen it, I've seen it, both of us have heard it, Neely's heard it. If anything else, it's one of the most mixed reactions I've ever seen with both critics and fans and everything. I mean, there's reviews out there that say this is the greatest album that's ever been recorded of any musical style, and then there's guys like you and I that aren't buying it, man. So maybe a good place. Go ahead.
The thing is, and what always gets me the most is that I don't think a lot of the people who completely lost their shit about that review even read it. I think they get to the page, they see what album it is, they see the 5, and they instantly just completely spaz out, and all of a sudden I lick monkey anus.
You lick monkey anus?
In the first 2 paragraphs, that was an actual quote, I think. I don't have the source of the individual in question who... I didn't jot his name down or put it on my Christmas card list, but apparently I lick monkey anus. But I spent the first 2 paragraphs saying, that it was cool that they took a chance to do something like this so late in their career, and I don't despise the record. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just that it's not that good, and we know that Judas Priest can make amazing records. Obviously, that's why we're all here.
Right. Well, the thing that bothers me, and unlike you, I don't think it's an average record. I think it's a piece of shit. I don't like it. I'll say it point blank. I do not like it. It's very.
Well, I'm not. I think 5 out of 10 was fair because I think there are a couple of indisputably good songs, and that's it basically.
Right. My main problem with this thing is it is so damn plotting, especially the second disc, man. That second disc, it's like let me see how many weights I can put on my back and then pull it a mile. It's just tough, man. It's hard to listen to.
Yeah, and it's schmaltzy. It's like, I think the whole thing, I kind of harped on this a little bit, but I think the whole Andrew Lloyd Webber thing is pretty apt. I think it sounds like a frickin' Broadway show.
Right.
And, that part when he's all You know, the part you can just see the spotlight coming down on him in the darkened stage when he sings the part about hope in his heart and stuff. And it's something that your aunt would go see on Broadway and pay $115 for tickets. And you know, and I'm gonna take the high road and resist making any gay Broadway jokes here, but. You know, frankly, you know, and this is just me theorizing, totally tinfoil hat conspiracy shit. But I mean, to me, it feels like this record is pretty much Glenn and KK sitting at home. They just figured out Pro Tools. They put this record together. You're not going to convince me Scott Travis even played on it.
Right.
And then they're so full of their genius that they just handed this giant 2-hour schmaltz fest to Rob and said, "Hey, here you go. Here's the record." And he kind of just had to, you know, he had to do what he could do with it, because the machine is running and they got to get the record out and get on tour. It's not. I think if they'd have taken this record and tried to like go into a rehearsal space and play it a few times, they would have thought that they would come to the same conclusion you did. They'd say, "Jesus, this is dragging ass."
Right.
And they would have kept it up, cut a couple songs out, and it'd be a better record.
Yeah. One of the things, this is just, and I obviously have nothing to back this up on other than just a thought. And my thought with this, and even at the tail end of Angel with Loch Ness, is that maybe part of the deal when they brought Halford back was that Halford wanted to do some different types of things, and they agreed to do that in order to get Rob back. Do you think that there could be anything to that?
Well, I could see that. And I mean, it could be from either side of the fence there. It could be he might want to do something different. You know, they might be, you know, feel like they're spinning their wheels. I mean, I think Angel was kind of the jukebox record. It was kind of like, well, hey, you know, remember us? Well, here we are. Here's what we sounded like then. Here's what we sounded like here. But I think this record is kind of, I mean, you know, and it's a cheap shot to make a Spinal Tap joke about it, but it's definitely them doing Jazz Odyssey. It's like, I'm gonna do this amazingly creative thing, and we're gonna totally blow the doors off, and we're not gonna conform to what anyone expects, and that's great. But the results are just shitty.
Right.
Mostly shitty, and you know, and I'm not doing. I'm not trying to puss out on that. I'm stand by the fact that I think most of the record is pure shit. It's just there are some good songs on it, and you know, and the thing is, I don't take any great joy in, you know, pissing on Judas Priest. I don't like cutting down my idols or my heroes, but you know, I got to put my name on the review, and no one's paying me enough payola to put a good review in there just because, you know, for the sake of the record. So I got to call it like I see it.
Well, Keith, I see people in our chat room are already making suggestions as to the next Judas Priest opus, and they're thinking maybe they ought to cover the Loch Ness Monster next. They'll just call it call it Loch Ness.
I was thinking maybe for the next one they could get together with Sid and Marty Kraft and do like a Sigmund and the Sea Monster concept album, or maybe Land of the Lost. You know.
Very nice.
A lot of stuff that rhymes. A lot of words rhyme with lost.
Yeah, well, they could just call the next one Slee Stack.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Nice. All right, Keith. So I'm going to open up the phone lines here. I don't know how many people are willing to call in and chat at you or blast you one way or the other. So I'm going to play the phone call bumper here. So for those of you who are interested in getting your 2 cents worth here, take note of the phone number.
Hello? The CMS phone lines are now open. Give us a call at 1-800-497-5891 and let your opinion be heard. Call now. It's 1-800-497-5891.
The Classic Metal Show.
All right, there you go. 800-497-5891. That is the phone number to call if you want to throw your 2 cents out there about Keith or the review or your thoughts on the new Nostradamus Judas Priest release, et cetera, et cetera. So feel free to jump in there and call.
Fueled?
Yeah, that was fueled by Anthrax.
Wow. And when I heard the hello, I thought it was going to be the first two notes of Operation Mindcrime.
Hey, we're creative over here, man.
Yeah, we know how to throw it together.
Mm-hmm. You get like a discounted royalty rate on a Stomp 442 music bed, or is that?
Hey, anything under 90 seconds we don't have to pay for.
Right, exactly.
Don't tell Scott Ian that.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll say, well, you played it 6 weeks in a row. That's 90 seconds.
He's going to have people. He's going to have meatloaf people after you, man. It's
That's
gonna be
right.
ugly.
All right, Keith, we got our first call. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Who are we talking to?
This is Randy from York, PA.
All right, Randy, what's on your mind?
Hey, I agree with Keith 100%, and I think the only thing worse than listening to that is they're planning on going out on tour and doing the entire thing.
Oof. Yeah, that's going to be a horse pill, man. I don't know. They're going to be selling like Red Bull at the concession stand.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the first couple of tracks the first night I got it, and I listened to the whole thing today, and it's tough.
It's, and I mean, it's one of those thank God for the digital age, because we can take the 4 or 5 good songs, put them on your iPod or whatever, and chuck all the Broadway shit.
Yeah, but I agree. Oh, you couldn't have said it any better. There's a couple of good songs, but most of it in between, it's tough. So that's all I got to say.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
Keith, do you think that part of the problem, Keith, is that the Priest, and I hate to say, I love Priest, so don't take this the wrong way, but do you think that they just don't understand what the music business is right now? Because, I mean, honestly, it's almost all the iPod generation now where people just want 4 or 5 good tunes. They don't really care about a whole monumental album like this.
Well, I think, and that's another thing people throw up in your face, like, well, you don't have what it takes to sit through this record, and and that's bullshit.
Right.
I mean, maybe if I was 21 or something, that could be a slightly more valid. But I think Priest is going for. And I hate it's always dangerous to second guess what anyone's doing, but I think they see these bands like, anybody from like Blind Guardian to Camelot to there's underground bands that are doing well for themselves. They're not huge. And I think Priest understands that the days of selling 2 million records are over.
Sure.
So they're going for, like, we're going to make this big, meaty, huge, substantial metal record for these die-hard underground metal dudes who still buy records and are still faithful. And, we'll have, like, 200,000 of those fans instead of 2 million, like, radio, mullet head dudes that only want to hear Breaking the Law.
Right.
But the problem with that is you got to be able to back it up with actual good music. You got to be able to write. If you're going to write a friggin' 2-disc concept album, it's got to have more in the idea department. There's got to be better riffs. There's got to be better dynamics. I mean, it's not a dynamic record at all. Like you said, it just plods. And
right.
I think they were maybe. And that's why it feels bad to even have to say anything bad about it publicly, because I think they looked at this as this big present they were giving the diehard, the underground metal community. Like, here it is. Here's the record that's going to blow you away. And it's kind of like, your dad trying to do something really cool, and you're like, oh man.
Well, Keith,
it's an A for effort, but it's just not. It's not what they're good at.
Right.
And again, I applaud them for their initiative. I applaud them for their effort, but it's not what suits them.
Well, Keith, you ready to take another caller?
I'm out. I got off easy so far.
All right, caller, you're on the air with Keith. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man, how are you? What's your name?
This is Rob here from North Carolina, man. Just talking about that new Judas Priest album. I kind of agree with what you're saying, though. It's pretty much like, you were talking about the Blind Guardian thing. Seems like to me Priest was trying to make an album for those European festivals instead of the United States fans. How do you feel about that?
I can see that. But see, I could see that because it's definitely not like a hit single kind of record. It's not.
No, it's not a U.S.
that's
market
fine.
record at all.
But I think, I can see them if they're like maybe headlining some, big outdoor festival and doing the whole thing as a big, one night only or something. And
like
whatever that would be
walking or something.
For the people that do like it, that would be great. But like I said, I could see it being more. I definitely think they're trying to market or trying to go toward what they think the real diehard and mostly European metal fans would want. But again, the execution is where it fell apart.
The only thing, I've listened to the record, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to call it. It's not really a bad record, but I think they could have jammed a little bit more. But then again, you got to think about the age factor too. That could have been a lot of it. The fact that, you know, they're not young spring chickens anymore, they're 52, so that could be a thing. But then again, you look at Dio, who's what, 65, and he still rocks ass. So it's hard to call.
Yeah, I just saw Dio do a 2-hour Heaven and Hell set and act like he was, you know, could have done 2 more. You know, I mean, Lemmy's still going strong, and that man's, you know, second only to Keith Richards in the self-abuse sweepstakes.
There's no doubt about that.
I don't know, and I don't, you know, I guess, like I said, I don't know anything about the inner workings of Judas Priest or anything. The one thing that I don't think I got this across in the review, the one thing I think they did right and did well was that they wrote the record for Rob's range. Because, I mean, you know, you're not going to hit some of the high notes when you're that old.
You're right.
That's just back to life. But, you know, they got some screams in there, but they wrote a lot of it in that really good mid-range, and he's still got a hell of a voice. I mean,
oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, somebody his age, I wish I could sing that much when I get that age, so maybe I can.
What's your name again there, caller?
Rob.
Rob?
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, I'm just curious, man. How far do you have to drive your tractor to go get that Nostradamus?
Oh.
Not too far, Chris. I live on the coast, man. I went by boat.
So Rob, have you ever listened to the Classic Metal Show before?
Oh yeah, man. I'm a big fan. I listen just about every Saturday.
Oh, excellent.
That's how I found out about you know, a lot of my European music is from y'all guys.
Excellent.
It seems like they're the only guys that seem to rock anymore. It seems like we've lost it here in this country.
Right. All right, Rob, you got anything else, bro?
Not much, man. Y'all just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep us going.
All right, well, we appreciate it, Rob.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, there goes Rob from North Carolina.
Well, goddamn, Keith, you're getting off easy.
You know, I'm as amazed as you are.
Where's all these haters that were what was the best comment I saw? Something about rewrite it or retire.
Rewrite it or retire. Well, it's funny because some people, you know, some of these people, this is just one more brick, you know, this is one more layer to the shit cake. You know, they've been mad at me for years and years. They, you know, pick your point of entry. No pun intended. You know, you know, there's people talking about when I reviewed the last Dissection record. A couple people have mentioned that, and you know, that generated another kind of similar firestorm of everyone being pissed off that I didn't know metal and I should go back to reviewing Cyndi Lauper records. And
nice. Well, Keith, we got another caller here.
Hello, this is Jalapeno from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What's up, Jalapeno? Jalapeno Pope.
What's going on, fellas? It's always a great pleasure and honor to talk to the classic metal people.
You're fucking
I got
right,
nothing but love for you, but I do got to call in and try not to be as the chat room saying, you know, a fanboy or whatever the term is.
Fanboy with an I.
I want to say this, Keith.
All right.
In 2006, when they talked about this album, they came straight out and they said, this is going to be a rock opera. We are going to lay out 60 points about this man's life. We're going to have more costume changes than Cher. We're going to have live orchestration. And it's going to be about a French prophet. Now, right there, I'm saying to myself, I mean, you knew right there that you could not review this the way you would review any Priest album.
Disagree.
I mean, you looked at this as...
Disagree. I'll let you finish your point, Jalapeno, but I'm going to step in right here for a second.
Okay.
You're to me, you're off base, man. You don't, as somebody that reviews a whole lot of records, and Keith,
yes,
certainly can step in with this as well. You do not change how you listen to and how you evaluate anything based on the changes that somebody's making. You know, you try and judge what's in front of you, no matter if it's Judas Priest or, you know, some band you've never heard of before. You put it in, you listen to it, you judge it solely on what's in front of you, not what the press release says and not what the band tries to do to hype it up for a week, a year, however long prior to releasing it.
I respect and appreciate everything you say, Chris, and enjoy your reviews and your taste in music. But the man, Rob Halford, said that this is going to be like a Puccini opera. So if you're going to evaluate this piece of music, then you need to evaluate it against that. If their goal was to be like a Puccini opera, like the Phantom of the Opera, and to cover a lot of scripted points, I think they accomplished it. I think they succeeded in what they wanted to do. Now, what they wanted to do was obviously not what a lot of the fan base wanted, but as you stated earlier, I don't think they're in touch with what people, I don't think they care. I don't think they have to.
No, I definitely agree with you on that.
And also
go ahead.
And, you know, I know that it's too passionate for me, and I'm biased. This was the group that brought me into metal. But I do feel like, God, they're going to get a bad shake here if this is looked at the same way you looked at Painkiller.
Well, the thing about that, though, is, you know, my point of view on it is, you know, I don't remember who said it initially, but, you know, I look at it this way. I look at it, and I'm somebody who listens to all kinds of music, and I know it's pretty cliched to say that, but, you know, I'm sitting here in front of my CD rack right now, and, you know, there's at least 3,000 sitting here looking at me, and it's, you know, it's good music or it's bad music. You can't, I can't, you know, I can't give them bonus points because they're doing something different.
Right.
And I'm not,
Okay.
There's a difference between saying, I mean, I don't think of the best way to put this. There's a difference between taking it in the context of what the band has achieved before and comparing it. Like, I'm not saying they have to write 12 more Breaking the Laws. That's the last thing I want. But, or 12 more Painkillers or 12 more Parental Guidances, you know, anything like that. I'm saying that given what they're good at and given what their strengths have been and given what the high bar they've set for themselves over the past 30, 40 years, I mean, you know, anybody, if you read the guys that wrote Sad Wings of Destiny should have been able to pull off a record like this better. I think it's a weak record, no matter what they were aiming for. I just think the songs. I mean, it can be, you know, there can be good operas and bad operas. I'm not saying it's weak because it's not metal enough for me.
I guess that's what I was looking for, Keith. What you just did now is totally acceptable to me. I do feel that it's weak as far as their stable of music goes. But I was looking for, like, well, they attempted to do orchestration and it was overblown. It was like Chris said, it was script. But I don't know that I saw that. I saw the critique as, well, in their body of music, this is damn weak. And I guess I wanted more. I just think that it was forgot how this album was billed in 2006. He said it would surprise you, shock you, and maybe even disappoint you, but this is what we're going to do.
Well, I give them. They've got brass balls for doing it. I can give them endless credit for doing it, but I don't think they achieved what they set out to do.
And that's fair. And Chris warned me that when I called, I may get that from you. I'm not going to change the way you boys feel.
Jalapeno, here's my question for you.
Yes, sir.
What Judas Priest record is worse than this?
Turbo.
Come on.
I thought Turbo was very contrived, and I thought it was an attempt to mainstream.
I admit Turbo is terrible, but there's at least there's a couple of memorable tracks on Turbo. A couple. I mean, and forget Turbo Lover. We all know that song stinks, but you know, there was a couple of wasn't Private Property on that one?
Yeah, it was.
But you know what? Though you could still sing the chorus of Turbo Lover right now, and you probably
I could sing Locked. With that Locked In was one that held my. But again, was he going for hooks in that this time? No, he said he wasn't.
Yeah, but dude, that's kind of like saying that Motley Crue's Generation Swine was good because they were going for an alternative sound. And every single person that's ever heard that record knows that that's a piece of garbage.
If you come over my house because I make a great steak barbecue, and I say to you, hey, Chris, when you come over today, I'm going to be making, like, Thai food, man. It's going to be different. It is not going to be, you know, a T-bone steak. If you come over there and then turn to me and say, you fucker, this is nothing compared to the T-bones you usually make.
But here's the difference. You're not going to call that Thai food steak. You're going to call it Thai food. They're still calling this Judas Priest.
To go with your analogy, if I come over to your house and you say, hey, I'm making Thai food, it's the first time I've done it, going out on a limb here, it's going to be a little crazy, and I eat it, and I say, well, hey, that's great, but it's not good Thai food.
Now, see, but do you see? I've got to reread the reviews then because I don't know. I think Chris did that more so than you did, Keith, and that's why I addressed most of it to you. I don't know that you criticized it as Thai food. I think you criticized it as a steak dinner. I can't believe this analogy. I hope I'm not offending any Thai people. All right, I'm going to bail, boys, because I can't listen to the show when I'm on the phone.
All right, Jalapeno. We appreciate you calling in.
Respect and love, hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
And Keith, I appreciate the work you do. It's hard to do, and I think you got brass balls for opening up the phone lines. So mad props from Pittsburgh to you, brother.
Hey, thanks, man. Thank you.
Goodbye.
All right, there's Jalapeno.
Yeah, get off our phone, you fucking Pittsburgh fag.
All right, we already got another call already. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? Joe Freelance.
Hey, it's Joe Freelance from Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Hey, Keith, you're a fuck nut. No, sorry, I just that's it. But hey, everyone's been pretty mellow on you, which is that's kind of cool. But okay, got a question. You've known Chris for a while, right?
Yeah.
Give me a really good, embarrassing story about him that he'll just absolutely hate you for telling.
Oh man.
Keith,
we haven't got to hang out that much.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
He spends a lot of time. He's got this incontinence thing. He doesn't go to a lot of shows, and plus he's got the sex offender thing on his ankle, so it's kind of hard for him to get out and see a lot of shows, to go out on the town and stuff. But he's given his caseworkers a lot of what for in his day. Let me just say that.
Yeah, the reason Keith's right, and that's why I took up metal, because I wasn't allowed to go see boy bands anymore.
There you go. There you go. Okay, well, Keith, what about just a good metal story? I think everyone has good, crazy metal stories of the nut job slashing his head open to show his devotion to Slayer or something like that. Any good rock stories?
Oh, shit. I had a stalker when I did college radio years ago, and he ended up writing me letters from a mental institution in pencil.
Nice, a male stalker.
And by the time I would he used to call the show. He was a drummer, and he was obsessed with Bill Andrews from Death. Because this was 91, 92, and he was obsessed with the album Spiritual Healing and with Bill Andrews, and he would always call me and ask about Bill Andrews' drum kit. And finally, I just said, look, dude, you got to quit calling me and asking. I don't know any more than you do. You can read the liner notes. And then he would tell me how he was calling music stores at random in Florida looking for Bill Andrews and trying to find who sold him drums. And then he somehow got my home phone number and started calling me and asking me to call sheriff's deputies and talk to them about his situation and the fact that his parents were locking him up and stuff. And it just got really weird, and then I didn't hear from him for years, and then out of the blue one day I got an envelope just written, scrawled in pencil from a correct I don't even know, someplace in Cincinnati. It was some home, and he was still trying to get me to call some sheriff deputy, and because his mom wouldn't take his collect calls anymore, and hopefully he's not listening right now.
Wow, crazy. Well, hey, thanks for writing about metal, because not enough people do, and I will hang up so someone else can call in and abuse you.
All right, thanks, Joe.
All right, later, guys. Hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
Thanks,
all right, there you go. No priest from Joe.
I wish I had a better story than that. That story kind of sucked. I was, I don't really have any stories of I did, actually, I have a good story about drinking Lars Ulrich's beer.
Nice.
Well,
I was at some bar in New York. I was actually hanging out with Scotty, and we were talking. It was a long time ago, and we ended up going to some bar, and Lars Ulrich was there, and he was just fucking housed. He was totally shit-faced.
Nice.
And I went to pay for my beer, and someone else in the entourage kind of did the little motion no, don't get your wallet out. And at the end of the night, so we were just drinking and drinking and drinking, and at the end of the night, they just hand Lars this huge tab for everyone in the bar's drinks. and he like does the cartoon, like his eyes go out of his head, and everyone just kind of slunk away.
Nice. All right.
That's all I got, man.
All right. We got another phone caller here. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello? You're on the air.
Yeah, I think you're clueless to think that Nostradamus isn't dynamic.
Okay, why?
Well, listen to Revelations and how it builds up at the end. Listen to Death, how it speeds up at the end. Listen to Pestilence and Plague and how it ends with the keyboards and everything. The whole album's dynamic.
I guess, I see what you're saying. It's dynamic. I guess maybe dynamic's not the word. It just seems like it never gets out of first gear. And again, I know you're going to say it's because, they're telling a story and everything, but it just, there's a lack of energy to me. And I think that's maybe dynamic was a bad choice of words. But because, it's got the ballads, it definitely goes, but it seems like it's just anemic. Maybe that's the way I should have put it.
Well, it has a lot of aspects of Judas Priest, and I just think your review is just totally wrong, and you need to listen to it a few more times.
So wait a minute, dude, and that's fine. What is your 1 to 10? What's your review of it?
I'd give it a good 9 or 10.
A 9 or 10.
They put a lot of work into it. I think the production is better than
it's one of the best metal
Retribution.
records ever made, or one of the best. I think part of the underlying problem here is that the whole number system just sucks ass anyway. It's stupid.
Right.
10. I mean, if 10 is Rain in Blood, Master of Puppets, Killers, where does Nostradamus fit in comparison to that? You can't give everything a 9 because that's saying that every, and I know that there's a lot of people that write for some of the print magazines who get a lot more free shit than me that do that, and so every month there's 10 8s and there's 5 9s and there's a couple of 10s. But to me, that's the best. That's among the elite of records ever released.
Right.
I don't think 5 is a horrible rating. I think 5, it's right down the middle. It's kind of, there's good parts, there's bad parts. It's not that great. I'm not gonna go listen to it on purpose.
Right.
But I don't think it's
9 or 10. I think you're a Priest fan beyond Priest fan, dude.
Well, I've just listened to it, and I know Judas Priest, no doubt, and I just hear a lot of good things. I hear a lot of good songs, a lot of good solos. I mean, Glenn and KK just tear up the whole album, and the dynamics in the song like Nostradamus, after the solos, and it goes into kind of like that mosh part. I mean,
right.
Halford's vocals sounds his best on Nostradamus. It just deserves at least an 8, 9, or 10, I'd say.
So, okay, all right. So between 8 and 10, where is Painkiller?
Painkiller's, 9 or 10, but it's a different album. I mean, it's a ripping heavy metal basher, but that was, 20 years ago or whatever. It was over 15 years ago. I mean, this is a different time. It's a different album. It's still, Nostradamus is still really good though. It's just different.
So are you saying you would rank Nostradamus like kind of outside? You wouldn't rank it in a listing with the other Priest records because it's so different. Is that what you're saying?
I would rank it right up there because it is different. All the Priest records are different, and they're all, most of them are really good. I mean, I don't like Rockarola, and Turbo has some weak songs like Private Property and Parental Guidance, but overall Priest, puts out consistent, quality heavy metal music. And Nostradamus is right up there.
Oof. I think we're going to agree to disagree on that one.
That's all I can say on that one. I mean, I'm not, and that's cool. I'm glad you like it. I'm not one of those people that I hate it. So if you don't hate it, you're a dick. I wish I enjoyed it as much as you do because I was really looking forward to another Priest record. But
well, I just think if you know Judas Priest music and you really listen to it, there's just a lot there to enjoy. Anyways, just wanted to say that. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks,
dude.
No
problem, man. Thanks.
Get back.
All right,
Thanks
bye.
for calling in.
All right. Well, we got a little mixed reaction going on here. 1-800-497-5891, and already we got another caller.
All right.
Hail and Kill caller, where you're on the air.
Hey, it's Joe from Bayonne.
Hey, what's going on?
I guess I'm just pissed off because I'm tired of all these metal bands doing what they want and not doing what the fans want. We're the ones who buy the tickets, and unfortunately, I bought this piece of shit, and I got to agree with the review.
Well, the thing is though, it all comes down to the dollar, man. I mean, and it is kind of frustrating that you bought this one, but you're probably not going to buy the next one without hearing it first.
Well, yeah, I mean,
right?
like you said, it's a digital age, but, I'm in my late 30s. I'll still buy a CD if I supported the band for 20, 30 years or whatever it is, and I don't know. I just, 40 minutes of plodding crap and then, about 20 minutes of good metal, to me, not worth it in this day and age, and people wonder why, we're selling 20, 30,000 records where we were selling a million and a half, 15 years ago. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the industry, but a lot of it is not giving the fans what they want. I mean, Metallica's last album, total piece of shit, and I think the next one's going to be a total piece of shit, too. I heard the sound is going to be better, but they're saying, it's sounding like Master of Puppets it's in that era. No, it's not. Stop saying that. These bands just got to be honest, go out, kick some ass, rip some faces off, and, we'll be happy. Stop trying to be different, playing tin can drums and no solos. Get out of here with that. It's not the generation that made you millionaires and sold you millions of records.
You're not pissed off at Judas Priest?
No,
at all.
I'm pissed off at metal in general, and I'm pissed off at Judas Priest too, I guess, yeah. Angel Retribution was about as good as a record we could expect them to put out at that point in their career. But now to come out with this thing, which is basically a 2-hour version of Loch Ness, is not my idea of putting something out that the fans want to put money down for. And even the promotion they put to get a ticket, a free admission ticket with the CD, that code didn't even work. And I got the album the same day it came out. And I know that many people didn't buy it, even though they said it's going to debut in the top 10 in Billboard this week.
Well, you know what you got to realize what that is? You think about how few records people are selling anymore. They sold, you could sell 50,000 and get in the top 10. That wasn't the case, 15, 20 years ago. So
yeah, that's what made me laugh when I saw the posting. It's the highest debuting album ever.
Say, it's our highest charting debut or highest charting record ever. Well, that's because it's not going up against the shit that it was going up against 20 years ago.
Right. Well, yeah, kind of like I've seen Iron Maiden pretty much every time they've hit the Jersey area, and Matter, Life, and Death was the highest charting album ever, and they said, we're going to play the whole thing, and half the Meadowlands was empty when I went in New Jersey. And then I went this year. They played the whole album. Shocking. They sold out 4 shows in the area in like 2 hours.
Nice.
But why? Because they're playing what the people want to hear. I don't know. I guess I'm too angry. I'm sorry if I'm taking this too seriously, but
is this Dante from the Clerks movies?
But anyway, good review, man. It was a good review. I mean, half of it was good, half of it was shit. That's right.
I thank you. I appreciate that, and I think I definitely stand by it. And I think that I think you've got a point. I mean, I think people should always be true to what they want to do. But I think this would have been something that would have almost been. I'd like to know which of the 2 guitar players really had a boner to make this record, and why they didn't just make it their solo album.
Dude, I could tell you that the answer to that is Glenn Tipton. KK came on here 2 weeks ago or whatever, and was just like, "Hey, I showed up. I learned about Nostradamus. I played." KK didn't give a shit. Right.
I mean, people make fun of Ozzy now and Kiss now, but at least they've said we're not going to put anything else out now. Fans may want it, but why put it out if it's going to tarnish the legacy we've made in the past and really make an embarrassment of it, which is Priest is slowly starting to do that.
I don't know about all that, dude.
Well, they can still, this is only one bump in the road, I think Angel was a pretty strong record. And I don't think this is a flat out embarrassment. I mean, I think I definitely think it's at least half shit, but I think that there's enough good stuff on it that, I'm not going to cringe when I see the next one show up in my mailbox. I'm going to be looking forward to hearing what they do next. And I'm going to say it right here in public that I'm going to say the next one's going to be 33 minutes long. It's going to be really catchy, and it's going to be the Back to Basics record.
Right, we just have to sit through this one. That's the price. That's the price
for buying this one, and this one will be like $3 in the used CD store in 2 months, and then they'll go and they'll do the rock and roll record again.
Exactly.
Well, I'll just get one more question before I take up too much time for another call. The last 5 years, when's the last metal album you've bought? And the real test to me is 6-7 months after you bought it. Have you gone back and put it back in your player or in your car and listened to it again? I mean, can you see yourself doing that with this record? No.
What? That's tough because of the, not and I realize it's going to sound like the douchiest thing in the world to complain about, but getting all this shit to review all the time, it's really one of the hardest things is to go back and listen to stuff again.
It is
because you're always getting anytime I'm sitting around listening to something 6 months old or a year old or something I grew up on is time that I'm off the clock kind of so to speak. But I'll tell you, the New Testament is I can't get rid of it. I can't quit listening to that record.
Yeah,
I don't think it's been 6 months yet, but it just keeps popping up. I can't stop listening to it.
Right. For me, the one album that I've been listening to for probably 2.5 years, I still listen to it at least once, twice a week, is Serenity and Fire by Cataclysm. That album will not go away
I've
from
heard
me,
it.
man.
I've heard it. It's good.
That's it. Really.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I like that record. It's I wouldn't say it's like a once a week thing for me, but I definitely dig that record.
All right, guys,
bro.
I appreciate the time, man.
Hey,
keep rocking. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for calling.
Take care.
All right, bye.
That's a good one too. Sebastian Bach, Angel Down. Do you like that one, Keith, or no?
I did listen to it. I haven't heard that one.
Okay.
I was never a huge Skid Row fan. Wasn't He's a very entertaining man.
I hear you. It's a good record though. You
I'm
might
sure
dig
it's
it,
better
dude.
than the last Skid Row record.
Oh, yeah, well, so is fucking Dead Air, but
Oh my God, that record was a piece of shit.
You ain't lying there. I think I gave that a 1.5.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I think I might have given it a 2.
Yeah, it's awful.
Well, we can
all agree on that. We can all come together and.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we got time for one more call if you want to jump in on this. 800-497-5891.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
No, we're just. I don't know. So what else? What are you listening to right now, Keith? What are you working up?
I've actually been a little bit. I've been actually trying to remedy that. I was getting kind of burnt for a while. I don't know. It's probably been pretty obvious that there have been fewer reviews up, like in the last few months on Blabbermouth. They haven't been getting updated as often, and there aren't as many going up. And a lot of that was just burnout. I mean, you try to do 5, 6, 7 reviews a week. Your head blows up eventually.
Right.
So I've been kind of going back and digging through a lot of old stuff that I grew up on, or stuff that really changed the way I looked at metal. A lot of just bands like Voivod and Coroner, Dark Angel, Death. Just going back and loading a bunch of classics up on the iPod and just kind of reconnecting a little bit.
Sure. Dude, are you like me where you get into the like me? I can write anything. I don't care what it is. I can write a review on it in 20 minutes. I for whatever reason I have that gift, whatever that is. But do you find that when you listen to a lot of stuff over and over, that you end up writing the same shit over and over? You look at it almost becomes a formula. Opening paragraph, then this, then that, then outro, then score. Do you find yourself doing that too?
I do to some extent. So a lot of times though, I just find myself where I just can't think of anything. I just get writer's block about something. Where, I had that with the Testament record, where I sat there and listened to it over and over and over, and I'm like, fuck, I love this record, but I have no idea what to say about it. And it took a couple of days of not listening to it, not really listening to anything, and just kind of, cleansing the palate a little bit.
Right.
To get to the point where I could put a sentence together about it. And I think sometimes, and I think that's what I'm trying to get to, where I can actually do a better job on the records I review by maybe not doing as many, or doing, not letting the review stuff be the sole thing I do. I don't want to put a CD in or put a record on the turntable and instantly go into analysis mode.
Right.
I want to be able to sit and listen to it and enjoy it or hate it and get that gut reaction. And then I think the trick from there becomes, putting the gut reaction into words and backing it up with facts.
Sure. You need your old buddy Chris writing for Blabbermouth. That's what you need.
Well, we got
This is all. You're just trying to get my job. That's
No, I ain't taking no one's job.
Well, we got another caller here, Keith. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hail and kill. What's up? This is Tony from Kansas City.
Oh, hey, it's Tony from
doing,
Kansas City. Are you ironing shirts tonight?
No, not tonight.
How's the? Have you been to the Goodwill lately? Have you picked up any used CDs or cassettes?
It's cassettes. No, I haven't. But I'm gearing up for Rocklahoma. You guys going?
Well, we've been invited to go, and we actually have a trailer to sleep in if we want to, if we want to be on a house on wheels.
Mm-hmm. How many members of Pretty Boy Floyd do you have to blow to sleep in that trailer?
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Ouch.
Well, what's up, Tony?
Hey, first of all, Keith, listen, I respect your job, what you do. You know, you're out there, you're listening to all the stuff, looking out for our best interests. That's how I look at it. I haven't bought the album yet, but I will Tuesday because I'm also going to pick up the new crew. And while I was listening to this interview, I think I'm going to be buying both of them at the same time, strictly just because of out of respect. You know, I grew up with these guys. They're still putting out product. I'm going to buy it. Angel of Retribution, I listened to it for about a month, and I haven't listened to it since. I admire Priest, what they're doing. They are literally doing what they want to do. And I look forward to hearing, Rob sing Italian. I want to hear all that stuff.
There's French too, so it's quite a travelogue. No, that's cool. I respect that. I mean, and I get, when you review stuff, you get a lot of shit for free. But there's still bands that I will, even if I get a free copy a couple months before it comes out, I'll make a point that Tuesday to go to a record store and buy it, because those are just bands. They're just bands that you do that for, And I definitely respect where you're coming from on that. And there's bands that I'm iffy sometimes. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I'll go buy it and I'll take a chance on it because I think I owe the band that much.
All right. Well, Keith, I'm gonna throw out 2 concept albums, and I want you to tell me where does Nostradamus lean towards. Okay, ready? Okay. Operation Mindcrime or The Elder?
Did he say The Elder? Holy smokes.
I just wanted to go from different ends of the scale. So I just want to see where, in your opinion, where does Nostradamus lean towards?
Wow.
Oh, I can't even say that.
It's not as bad as The Elder.
No, it's not. It's in terms of giant crashing creative failure, maybe. I think it's much more. I don't know. See, Mindcrime just moved. Mindcrime didn't drag really. I don't think.
No.
Maybe in 1 or 2 places. But man, I can't compare. I mean, there's limits to what I could say about Judas Priest in public. Man, that's horrible.
Wow.
You want
in a bad spot, man.
Tony, it ranks somewhere, in my eyes anyway. I would put it right up below Part 2 of The Neon God by Wasp.
Really?
It's just below that.
Wow.
So you are dumping it in the used bin.
Oh, yeah, mine's already gone. What are you talking about?
Well, like I said, I do respect Priest for what they're doing. More recently, they're doing a free show in New York, actually, for Eddie Trunk's 25th anniversary. They're doing it for free because they want to. And looks like they made this album because they wanted to.
And that's the thing. Again, I've never said anything. I've never given them anything but respect for that. It's just that, as a fan, as somebody who, like the other guy said, somebody who's going to walk into the record store and put money down for it, or somebody who's going to, somebody who's followed the band through thick and thin. I own the Ripper Records. I was there for the shows, and they lost me on this one. It's not. I don't think it's got the quality.
Right.
And I think a record can. I think regardless of whether it's a different style, whether it's a different shade of metal, whatever you want to call it, however you want to differentiate it, there's quality and there's lack of quality. And I think that there's a lot of areas on Nostradamus that don't have the quality.
All right. Well, Hell and Kill, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, Tony.
And love your show, man. You guys take care.
All right, get back to ironing those shirts.
You know me, man.
All right.
You guys really know me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Got a regular.
Yeah, he irons his clothes while he listens to the Classic Metal Show on Saturday night. What a great life he lives, huh?
The man.
We got another call here. Hail and Kill, caller. You're on the air.
All right. I'd like to make a comment about the Judas Priest.
All right, have at it. Who are we talking to
This
here?
is Jim from Cleveland.
All right, Jim from Cleveland, have at it.
All right, I'm going to throw a little monkey wrench into it, and I won't say anything bad about Keith's review because everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I love this record. Absolutely love it. I have played that thing probably 12 times now.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time, man. That's
I love it.
times 20-some songs.
It's a day.
Hey.
It's an investment.
So, all right, dude, and that's fair enough. Nobody wants to make you not like it. My question is, what do you like about it?
I love the way the songs blend into each other. I think the story comes out really well. I think they just did a phenomenal job. I think it's a masterpiece, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think compared to,
Have you heard a lot of records? I mean, do you... just as an example, like, have you heard, like, Sabotage before? Like, the kind of...
Oh, yeah.
This kind of thing.
Hall of the Mountain King and that, and Gutter Ballet and all that.
Yeah,
Love
okay,
those
there you
records.
go. That's what it struck me as, like that they do that. Like, it's kind of like that they do that sort of thing. Only to me, they do a better job of it. But again,
right. Well, I mean, I just think, Priest has put out so many, and pretty much it's been their great metal. And don't get me wrong, I've been a fan for 30 years, but I appreciate what they did, and I know you said you did too, or the effort. I think it's just a great record. I mean, I like Mindcrime, but I think this just blows Mindcrime.
Oh,
and Chris was saying something about the Wasp, man. I thought Crimson Idol was a great record.
I love Crimson Idol. I was talking Neon God, my friend.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Crimson Idol was fantastic, but no, I actually love this Priest. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Granted,
so if they do play this whole thing from start to finish, you're going to be front row?
So I'd be there in a heartbeat. Hey, I was at, I loved, that one guy made a comment about the Maiden's Matter of Life and Death. We drove to Detroit because they didn't play Cleveland. We drove to Detroit to see it, and I thought it was a fantastic show.
Well, as someone who lives in Toledo, anybody that'll drive through Detroit for any reason at all, has brass balls. So you're to be commended for that.
You got that right. But hey, I won't keep up your time. I just think it's a great album, and it'll be on my turntable for a long while.
Damn. I see you're dating yourself there with a turntable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I went out and bought the Super Deluxe edition.
Oh, Jesus. How much did that cost?
$69.99.
Oh,
I don't know if I can tell the store on the air, but it was Best Buy.
Oh, Jesus.
They actually had the vinyl version there?
I'm sorry?
They actually had the vinyl version there?
Yeah, they had 3 vinyl and then 2 discs, and then they throw in a poster or something in there. But it's I love it.
Man.
I ain't got nothing to say bad about it, to be honest with you. And I know it's getting all kinds of bad reviews. I don't see it. I know a lot of people were expecting, Priest to be put out another, well, maybe not another British Steel or something like that, but I think it's fantastic.
Well, dude, enjoy your $70 turd, my friend.
I will. Thanks a lot, man. Hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
All right, bye. Nice. All right, Keith. Well, I closed up the phone lines here, but we appreciate you.
I didn't have to wear asbestos underwear after all.
Well, it wasn't quite the persecution we had thought it would be, but overall, pretty good callers, and at least they had a point.
But you know why it wasn't so bad, right?
And very, very. It's almost like that metal stereotype of all of us being onion heads isn't really true or something.
Right. Well, Keith, you know why the beating wasn't so bad, don't you?
Why is that?
Because everybody that posts how bad you suck on Blabbermouth isn't allowed to use the phone after 9.
Oh boy.
They're not allowed to put their alias up in the caller ID when it comes up. It's not allowed to come up as like Scott Weiland's turd burglar or something.
That's
so
right.
They can't make the phone call.
Nice. Yeah, either that or they can't figure out how to run the phone line to Mom's basement.
Yeah, it's too. The phone's too low tech for them.
That's right.
Use Vonage, maybe. I'm surprised nobody called up and yelled "Meshuggah" and hung up.
Exactly.
Nice.
I always like Keith Bergman is our misfortune. That's my favorite line ever.
I'm actually thinking about making up some Blabbermouth T-shirts and making a couple for myself, and on the back, you know how, like, the old '80s metal shirts would just say in, like, the huge the font. You'll know the font I'm talking about. When it would just say, like, Master of Puppets.
Right.
Like giant letters on the back. I was going to make a shirt on the back. It was going to say, "I am your misfortune."
Nice. You know, you got to get those iron-on letters that were fuzzy. Now that's hot.
Wow. Yeah. Well, see, that's a little too emo, and that would just fit into everyone thinking that I'm actually this little emo kid that hates metal.
Nice.
And flips burgers.
Well, why don't you go get a real job, Keith, and stop bugging us?
You know, I'm going to go do that right now. I'm going to see if Denny's is hiring.
Excellent. All right, Keith. Well, it was good to have you here on the Classic Metal Show, and thanks for being a guinea pig for our experiment for taking live callers and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it all worked. That was pretty. I'm impressed. Kudos to you guys for that.
Excellent. All right, man. Well, we'll be looking for you on the blabbermouth.net and look at the bashing you'll be taking from here on out.
Yeah, anytime you want to do this again, man, I'm game.
All right, man.
All right, look, we got a whole list of metal experts. We got Keith, and we got Eric Braverman, and we got Daryl Keck, and man, I'll tell you, we got all the good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
All the big names.
All the big names. All right, Keith. Well, got any kind of a MySpace or a website or anything like that you want to plug?
No, just Blabbermouth for now. I will say one thing to the 6 people who are listening that might actually care about this, but you guys probably might have seen it before. I used to do the parody zine, Infernal Combustion.
Right.
Well, we've been talking about that recently because it's been inactive for 3 or 4 years now. Sometime before the end of the year, and in some form or other, it's going to come back.
Excellent, man. Infernal Combustion was fun, man.
But I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be, the corporate whore job that it was through Roadrunner, as everyone was,
right
at the end of its life. But I don't know how we're going to do it exactly. We're still kind of in the early stages of putting it back together and trying to carve 4 more hours a day out of a day to do it.
Right.
But it is coming back. So, but whenever that's up and running, it'll be. We'll put a thing on Blabbermouth so that everyone can register their disgust on the internet.
Very cool.
All right, Keith. Well, in all fairness to Judas Priest, is there a Priest tune off of this new Nostradamus that you do feel is worthy?
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
If you say war, I'm gonna start promoting Brave Words only.
Oh, but shit, you played probably the best one.
Well, we played Visions and we played Persecution. Anything else?
How about Alone?
Oh, you guys pick. I don't think whatever I pick will be read into or.
Well, I say title track. What the hell?
Nostradamus.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you want to make sure people know that it's a concept album about Nostradamus, the chorus should be "I am Nostradamus."
Right.
All right, dude. Well, we appreciate you being a part of the Classic Metal Show and fielding calls and yada, yada, yada. Go check out Keith and his reviews over at blabbermouth.net and just give him hell.
Right.
Give me hell. I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.